Good day, I'm Andrea Chisholm and this is your JIS News for Thursday, July 17. The Ministry of Health has confirmed that Jamaica now has its first imported case of chikungunya. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Kevin Harvey made the disclosure after the receipt of a report from the Caribbean Public Health Agency Thursday morning. It confirmed that the sample sent on Tuesday from an individual who recently traveled from an infected country was indeed positive for the chikungunya virus. Dr. Harvey says the ministry will continue its heightened surveillance and will be taking steps to reduce the mosquito population through its vector control program. There is no specific treatment or vaccine for the chikungunya virus, which is spread by the Aedes aegypti mosquito that also transmits dengue fever. Persons are therefore urged to protect themselves by destroying mosquito breeding sites in their environs and taking steps to avoid mosquito bites when traveling to and from countries with confirmed cases. Anyone who experiences any of the symptoms associated with the chikungunya virus is asked to visit their doctor or the nearest health center immediately. Jamaica continues to record a decline in every category of serious and violent crimes this year. In a statement to Parliament on Tuesday, National Security Minister Peter Bunting said year-to-date, murders, shootings, rape, aggravated assaults and robberies had decreased compared to the same period in 2013. Police fatal shootings also declined by 46%. Minister Bunting added that since the Law Reform Fraudulent Transactions Special Provisions Act was passed in March last year, over 600 persons had been arrested and charged in connection with the lottery scam.
All 20 or so cases that have already been disposed of in the courts have resulted in convictions. We anticipate similar success with the recently passed anti-gang legislation.
Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips is reiterating that Jamaica's re-entry into the capital markets signaled confidence in the country's economic reform program. The $800 million bond is Jamaica's largest transaction ever with the international capital markets. On Tuesday, Minister Phillips explained to Parliament why the government decided to take up $300 million more than planned at an interest rate of 7.625% over 11 years.
What this does is lock in what is likely to be the lowest interest rate for some time. It can always be wrong. But the Federal Reserve has indicated that they are going to be ending tapering this fall, and that the prognosis is that rates are going to rise.
Minister Phillips said technocrats both locally and overseas therefore advised the government to take up the expanded offer. Legislation will be taken to Parliament soon to upgrade the current free zone regime to a modern Special Economic Zone SEZ policy to meet the 2015 deadline for the implementation of the Jamaica Logistics Hub initiative.
We aim to have the draft document into a green paper tabled in Parliament by September, when Parliament reconvenes. I think the timeline from there to passage should be very short. I expect that by the end of September, early October, we'll have settled the policy in the Parliament.
The Industry Minister was speaking at the Business Process Industry Association of Jamaica's Industry Forum last Friday in Montego Bay. He said the Factories Corporation of Jamaica would be spending $120 million to transform the Garmex Free Zone into a modern factory space with 120,000 square feet of warehouse rooms and rehabilitated infrastructure. Book lists distributed by schools for the upcoming academic year have been significantly reduced compared to previous years. The Education Ministry says this is a result of its recent decision to restrict supplementary textbooks to only those approved by the ministry. As a result, students in grades 1 to 3 are now required to purchase only 2 textbooks, one language arts and one for mathematics. Students in grades 4 to 6, meanwhile, are required to purchase a total of 4 books for language arts, mathematics, science, and social studies. At the secondary level, students in grades 7 and 8 are required 3 supplementary textbooks in literature only, and this increases to 5 for grade 9 students. Chief Education Officer Dr. Grace McLean has commended school administrators for their positive response and is encouraging students and parents to explore other options for supplementing school resources. She says the ministry will continue to monitor the situation to ensure schools comply with the guidelines for compiling book lists. Members of the public with queries can contact any of the Ministry of Education regional offices. And finally, public sector workers can expect a 20% discount on tickets purchased for the August 1 to 5 Independence Village being staged as part of the month-long Jamaica Festival of Events. Executive Director of the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, Delroy Gordon, made the disclosure at a recent JIS think tank session.
All public sector workers will be able to buy their tickets at $800. And these tickets will have to be purchased at the JCDC because persons will be required to show their ID or a pay stub or anything to identify them as a public sector worker.
Mr. Gordon said the JCDC was also maintaining last year's ticket prices for the general public in recognition of the economic constraints. Pre-sold tickets can be obtained online at jcdcjamaica.com or at JCDC offices island-wide. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Thank you for watching.